All right, peace. ATM Hotep. Hopefully you all can hear me. That means welcome and peace. This is your brother Wujau, and you're tuned into the Seshu Netcher channel, shortened to the Seshu. Keep it real simple. The Seshu channel. So, not gonna spend a lot of time tonight. I really appreciate anybody who's tuned in and clicked on the notification early as I kick this off. So I'm just going to dive right on in. And what you see on the screen right now is a book of a narrow book, not a long read at all. It's a booklet, I would say. We put let on there to make it, to deal with size. But it's called a contribution to the debate on the meaning of the place name Kemet, and is written by the Shemsu Heru research team. All right, and you see the glyphs beneath that for the Shemsu Heru, or Shemsu Hor, as some people may say it. And that includes myself, the brother Sanjeti, and the brother Asar Imhotep. All right, so we put together some notes or some preliminary notes and documented them in this particular booklet. And so there's, I believe, 4 sections of the booklet. 2 were written by Asar Imhotep, 1 was written by me, and the other one was written by Sanjeti. All right. And the reason why I'm showing this on the screen is because of the conversations that have been transpiring as of late in the circus community. All right. And as a result of the circus community and all of the different conversations, I've been inboxed, DM'd, and emailed different questions and different, people seeking my take on certain things, people passing, sharing information and asking me questions, all of which, I don't mind and I welcome. I like interaction. I like to do my best to clarify anything that I can clarify if I'm able to. If I'm not, then if it's something that interests me, then I like to work with people in seeking clarification, especially if I have time. So that's all good. But what I noticed is because of the conversations that are floating around in the different YouTubian verse in the circus community, I noticed that a lot of the questions are similar, if not the same. And I find myself repeating the answers if I deal with it one-on-one with people that are asking me questions. And it starts to become repetitive, time-consuming, and a little even frustrating, especially when the answers to many questions are already written and explained. And all of this, I really don't have a problem with, but to alleviate any frustration that could creep in, there are people who may not know about this publication or what it deals with, even though the title of it should be plain and clear, enough. But what because we didn't use the word toponym on the cover, we used the word place name so that it could be clear to people. I realized that there are many people that didn't know what the word toponym meant. So we didn't use the word toponym Kemet. We said place name Kemet, which is what toponyms are, just to kind of make it so it won't confuse anyone. And so I'm just showing this on the screen to let everyone know that this is available on Amazon, and I'm going to show it to you from Amazon real quick. Here it is from Amazon, and I wanted to show this right now because Amazon is doing a sale. I don't know how long the sale is going to last or anything like that, But right now, the book is only $13.51. And I believe you may have to have Amazon Prime to get it at that price. I'm not sure. I'm a Prime user. I have Prime membership, so maybe that's why it's showing at that price. But normally it's $19.99. So if you don't already have the book, and you're one of those people who are interested in these issues that you may have heard from various different places in the circus community, then you can get clarification from this book in terms of what myself, Asar Imhotep, and the brother Sanjeti have had to say. Now, this was published in 2019, so it is officially 3 years and 1 month old now. So it's 3 years ago. So hopefully you all can kind of sense why there's a little frustration that may creep up when people ask me, and I speak for myself when I say this, that and I'm usually one that's very tolerable, very patient, very tolerable. But after 3 years of writing this and helping to write this and doing videos about these issues and things going back to 2018, which is 4 years ago, you should be able to understand why I can get a little frustrating at this point. So to eliminate all of that stuff and to keep everything nice and smooth, I'm recommending anyone who has questions to get the book and read it. Then, after you read it, then come and contact me if you have any confusion about anything in there. Then I can address your question specifically with, in a more surgical way. You can tell me what paragraph and what page that is confusing you, what point that was made in there that's confusing, and so on and so forth. We can, that is much more effective, and that is how things are done professionally and should be done. All right. So just wanted to kind of knock that out first. All right. Another thing I wanted to share with you all is, let me get this off the screen. Another thing I wanted to share with you all, along the same lines now. This is the same lines of people asking questions. The brother Asar Imhotep just did a live stream. And the topic of his live stream was, and I'm paraphrasing, was the importance of the meaning of Kemet in Africology, Africana studies, or Africology, something to that effect. But he was just live earlier, so you can go to his channel, Asar Imhotep, and check out that video. And it's not that long, the video itself. He went over 10 bullet points or 10 things or reasons why the topic of the meaning, the etymological meaning of the place name Kemet is important to Africology or Africana studies. All right, so check that out. But I was in the video, I was in the chat and watching the video, and I was reading the comments in the chat, and I'm looking at what people are asking, saying, claiming, and whatever, all the conversations in the chat. And I was asked particular questions, so I want to share this with you all. This is our YouTube channel that you're on right now, that you're watching me on right now. Okay. This is the YouTube channel. I'm showing this because we have a resourceful archive of videos on our YouTube channel. And some of the questions in the chat from Asar's video today were things that we covered on this channel years ago, 4 years ago. So I want to point out specific ones, because I don't want anybody to get the notion that I'm brushing anyone off when I tell people that we've covered it check out our archives. And, people may get offended and say, "Oh, you brushing me off," you know, why can't you answer me right now, and so on and so forth. And see, what people are going to have to understand, this is not the street corner. This is not hanging out on the stoop. This is not hanging out at the basketball court, in the barbershop, you know, in the parking lot. This is not that type of get down. These topics, most of them, are more effective to deal with in a different setting, either in writing or in a more controlled environment that's made for learning and education. All right. And then overall, a lot of these topics cannot be microwaved. And this is just something that people are going to have to understand, no matter how upset people may get. And I do understand the fast-paced life we all live now, where we have access to things very quickly. We have text messaging. We have electronic mail, which is email. We have FaceTiming. We have online encyclopedias. We have online libraries, where everything is quick and accessible in a quick way. So I get that, but that doesn't mean that things can be or should be microwaved at all. Fast access is one thing, but to try to fast track answers and explanations is totally another. And it's just ineffective to try to microwave a lot of these things that people talk about online. So anyway, I'm going to quickly show this. So one of the questions, let me go scroll down. So this is 3 months ago. I got to scroll way down because we're going backwards in time. See if I can find it and eyeball it real quick to find it. Okay, here it is. Here's one. 2 years ago. This one right here is entitled, and hopefully y'all can see it clear enough. This is called A Reason Why the Meaning of the Place Name Kemet is an Issue, Simplified. All right, that's this video right here 2 years ago. So, and I'm going to point out these videos that are related to the topic that you see people discussing as of late, all throughout the YouTubian verse and the circus community. So this is one of them. It's called A Reason Why the Meaning of the Place Name Kemet is an Issue, Simplified. I did a video with the brother Adrian Jones. Everybody may know him as Asarim Ka, our good brother Asarim Ka. And we discussed the nation of Kemet. Okay, so you could check out that video. Prior to that, we did a video called The National Personification and the Importance of the Reading Comprehension. Okay, and we were addressing our good brother Asarim Ka, which is why he came on and had a discussion with me in the next video afterwards. All right, so those videos are side by side. All right, and I'm gonna skip. I'm just going to point out the ones that I see that are related to these issues you've heard people talk about lately. But check out all of our archives. Don't sleep on the archives. All right. Most likely anything that's being talked about, we've covered. We've been doing this for a while on this channel, and even just outside of these videos. But let's see. Here is let me see, what is this one? This one is okay. Here's another one with Asarim Ka. So it's three videos with Asarim Ka involved. But here's a video, live Q&A session with the Semshu Heru research team. So I believe that's 3.5 hours long. That's with me, Asar, and Sanjeti answering questions about the book. All right, we gave people time to get the book, read it, and then we did a live Q&A session. So you can check that out. All right, that's why we did these videos. So that's one. What's that one? This one. This one is kind of related. This one's called Shekant Diop's The Egyptians as They Saw Themselves, Part 2. So we covered Diop's assertions about that. This is Part 2. And Part 1 is right here. If y'all can see that. I hope y'all can see my cursor. Part 1 is right here. Shekant Diop's The Ancient Egyptians as They Saw Themselves, Part 1. So we did that. Now notice here's a thumbnail to cover the book. Here is the video, Kemet as a Toponym, a contribution to the debate on the meaning of the place name Kemet. This was done 3 years ago. All right. So there's a video for you right there. Now, what's also related, if you go further down, is this video here. Now, people won't know that it's related because a lot of people don't know what a portmanteau morph is. And, you know, I don't expect people to know what that is either. But check out that video, portmanteau morphs, and it's only 30 minutes long, 39 minutes long, and you'll get a good nugget, a quick lesson about portmanteau morphs and what they are. It is related to the topic because just today somebody asked me about the T in the word Kemet, if it means riparian country, if the T means riparian country, and so on and so forth. And that's a weird question to me because of what I know, but it's even weirder, you know, because the brother said that he read our book, and I have no idea how that question could come out of after reading the book. You know, that's, to me, that's a bit weird. But portmanteau morphs will explain some things that are related to the topic. Grammatical gender is another one to watch because people talk about the feminine T and things. So I did a lesson on grammatical gender. I did a lesson on the feminine plural. And here's another one, Kemet as a toponym, a brief lesson in toponymy. Okay. So I just want to point those out, and there may be some more that are related, but that's enough. So I point these out so that you can know that these videos exist. They're on our channel, and they're not very long. They're not my usual long-winded hour-long videos. Not these that I pointed out. So check them out. And by all means, listen, after you either read the book or check out these videos, then come to me with whatever confusion or questions or comments you may have. They are welcomed, and I actually encourage it. But don't do that prior to, though. That's not fair. That's just not fair at all. Nobody wants to be asked questions repeatedly on things that they laid out in writing for the purpose of people not having questions, so it won't just be shot from the hip, you know. And that's how we make progress. And so remember, this is not the streets. Scholarship has its behavior, its mannerisms, its way of doing things. And people who don't do scholarship, you have to just understand, one, that you don't do scholarship, and two, that scholarship does have its ways and manners of doing things, and you have to adjust accordingly if you want to deal with scholarship. That's just that. If I want to deal with mixed martial arts, MMA, I have to conform to the rules and the mannerisms of that whole space, the whole space of MMA. The fitness, the combat itself, the MMA culture, the lingo. If I want to engage that, I have to conform to its rules. I'm not gonna engage it and then expect it to be like some computer science stuff. So we have to be careful not to do that with scholarship. We can't try to make scholarship street. That's not how it's done. All right. So just want to make that clear. All right. So now that I got that out the way, The reason why I am live is to have a nerd moment. All right. So it was recommended to me to go over the etymology of a few words that are used quite often in the circus community, the online social media community, et cetera, et cetera. These YouTube streets. All right. So that's what I'm gonna do. So I really appreciate anybody who is tuned in, hanging out with me, and we're just gonna walk through a few words, the etymology of the words, and kind of get accustomed to the word's history and see why and how it's used the way it's used today. Okay, so we're just gonna go through a few of them. All right, so hopefully y'all will stick with me. I'm not gonna be long, and we could walk away all learning something. But before I do, I want y'all to check this out.
Five, four, three, two, one.
All right, all right. So as you can see, I have changed my avatar. So you're gonna see more of this. The African Scholastic Homeland Security Agency. All right. Because right now on these YouTube streets, it's getting goofy, it's getting messy, it's getting real childish. Bad character folks are peeping and at an all-time high. We get into some real sloppy, immature, 50 and older folks acting like little kids and stuff like that. All right. So if you are tired of that, or whatever the case is, you're in the right place. If not, then miss me with all of the shenanigans. Really miss me with all that stuff. All right. So, because right now it's about progress and real scholarship. None of that pseudo monkey business that you see going on, or none of that stuff. All right. So just want to put that on record, let people know what time it is. When it comes to me, don't come see me about the BS. Don't come see me about any of that. Don't come check for me for any of that stuff. All right. It's not time. This is adult time. All right. You know, playtime is during recess, going to monkey bars, going to on a sliding board, merry-go-round. That's what that's for. All right. So, having said that, I'm going to get into what I came here to get into. So the first word up is the word fight. And by the way, shout out to Sonnet Safa. These are her recommended words to kind of go over the etymology for. So shout out to Sister Safa. You all may see her pop up every now and then in the chat or even on the panel. All right. So this is the first word, fight. And y'all, we just read it together. The word fight. So these are all, now, mind you, all of this information is coming from the etymological dictionary. All right. So I didn't pull this out the sky, or I didn't make this up, or I didn't invent this. This is not coming from Ujao, my back pocket. All right. This is all coming from the etymological dictionary that any of y'all will have access to. Pretty much any one of them, they will say the same, similar, or if not the same thing that you see on the screen. All right, so I just grabbed it quickly right before I went live, just so we could read it together. All right, so the first word is fight. What does it say? And I know y'all can't see my my cursor. You all know I need to have my arrows here. Okay, so fight. The deadly earnestness of fighting seems to have had its etymological origins in the rather petty act of pulling someone's hair. Let me stop there. Did y'all know that? Etymology is really fun because it's words that we use every day that you'd be surprised at the history and development of the word and why it means what it means today. And the words it's related to. It's really, I do this as a hobby, like on Facebook. If you follow me on Facebook, at least once a week, and try to do it more often than that, I will post up what I call word porn or nerd moments with these words, and I give you the etymology of these words and everything, and it's just fun. It's revealing. But anyway, so fighting came from pulling one's hair, and when you think about fighting and hair, you think how girls fight. Women. Young girls, in school, when you see a girl fight, that's the first thing they grab is each other's hair and everything like that. So that kind of takes me back to those days. Nowadays, if grown women fight and do that, they not grabbing any hair, they pulling the wigs off. So you ain't, you're not holding on to anything. It's just, you grab it and pull it, and then they get it loose from you because you pulling off the wig. I don't know about those sew-ins though, or whatever you call them. Anyway, so let me keep going. Fight, the word fight, together with the German Fechten and the Dutch Vechten, and I'm probably butchering the pronunciation, so forgive me for you German and Dutch speakers. It goes back to a prehistoric Germanic Fechten, which appears to come from the same ultimate source as Latin pectere, which means comb, and Greek pico or peko, comb. The missing links in the apparently far-fetched semantic chain between fighting and combing are provided by such words as Spanish pelear, which means fight or quarrel, a derivative of pelo, which means hair, which originally meant pull hair. The German raufen, which is to pull out or pluck, which when used reflexively means fight. The English word tussle, which originally meant pull roughly, and may be related to tussle. So there you have it, fight. So fight had an original notion of hair pulling, and the rustling and bustling of hair pulling is fight. When somebody has a fight, that's what originally occurs. So that all makes sense, right? So anyway, that's the word fight. All right. So there you have it. That's the word fight. So I'm just gonna go through these. I'm just sharing these with y'all. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7. I have 8 altogether. 7 more, just to give y'all a heads up. All right. These are just interesting. These are ones I'm just sharing with y'all. The next word is argue. Now we get this kind of common sense about the word argue as if it's evil and bad. No one should argue. Stop arguing. Stop arguing. And people will hear me distinguish arguing from fighting, from fussing and fighting, verbal fighting. Okay, because there is a distinction. All right, and we need to make that distinction clear. So argue comes from English acquired argue and its various meanings via rather complex paths. But its ultimate origin is straightforward. The Latin verb aguare, derived from a prehistoric Indo-European base arg, which meant to be bright. Be white, bright, or clear. The source of Latin argentum, silver, and thus of French argent, money. And I know French don't pronounce it that way. Money. It therefore meant primarily make clear. See, that's important. You have to put forth your argument, which means you have to make yourself clear. All right. And see, if we understood this, we would know that you cannot possibly microwave an argument. Because to microwave an argument, it's highly likely that you're not going to be clear. And that's against what the very word argument or argue means. It means to make clear. But this subsequently developed into assert or prove. A frequentative form, that is, one denoting repeated action, evolved, argutere, thus signified the meaning make repeated assertions or accusations. Now, you can't repeat something over and over again if you microwave. Microwave is quick. You don't have time to repeat. So again, microwaving something is against arguing, proper arguing. All right, let's keep going. This passes into medieval French as argot, and I know I'm butchering the French pronunciation, argot, which is accuse, blame, and also bring forward reasons for an assertion, and thence into English. The meaning accuse died out in English in the late 17th century, leaving reasoning, discussing as the main sense of argue. And that's how we use it today. Meanwhile, original Latin aguere, weakened to imply or indicate, as in their lack of involvement argues indifference. The sense quarrel seems to have developed from discuss. Now that's a key thing, from discuss. So when we think of arguing as in fighting or quarreling, it developed from the word discuss, the sense of discuss. And I'm going to show that. I think I show that next. All right. So hopefully you all got argue. All right. Let's go on to the next one. The next word is discuss. Yes. So the ultimate source of discuss meant smash into pieces. Already that should sound familiar to a word I always use, which is the word debate. Debate means to hammer out something. And I don't have this up on the screen. I don't have debate up on this to show you all, because I go over that so many times. But the word debate means to hammer something out, to beat it up and hammer out so as to expose its guts in order to examine. That's what a real debate is all about. Okay? So it's related to the word discuss. So it's to smash into pieces. It comes from discuss, the past participle stem of Latin discutere, and I'm probably mispronouncing that. A compound verb form from the prefix dis, which means apart, and quatere, shake, to shake apart. Okay? From which English also gets concussion and squash. Y'all see that? A concussion is usually something that you hear in sports, especially NFL football. People get tackled hard and whatnot. They have a concussion. Then you have the word squash. Its literal meaning was smash apart, break up. And this gradually developed via the word meaning of scatter and disperse to, in post-classic times, to investigate, examine, and eventually debate. The apparent wide semantic discrepancy between scatter and disperse and then examine was probably bridged by some such intermediate notion as disperse or separate in the mind so as to distinguish and identify each component. And see, that's important. I need to make that bold. That's important. To disperse or separate in the mind so as to distinguish and identify each component. That is what a discussion is all about. To have a discussion. To see the whole, its components, and to distinguish them. All right. Once again, you cannot microwave a discussion because you don't have time to do this effectively. If y'all don't know it already, I am anti-microwave. All right. We got a lot of microwave folks out there that want to do nothing but microwave. They don't want to read. They don't want to watch videos. They don't want to slow the conversations down or any of that. Okay. So next we have dispute. So let's go through dispute. Where's my cursor? All right, here we go. Dispute comes from Old French disputer, and I know it's not pronounced. That's not how French pronounce it. But disputer, from Latin disputare, a compound verb formed from the prefix dis, which means separately, and putere, consider, reckon, think. Okay? So think separate. The source of a wide range of English words from computer and reputation. Okay? How many of y'all know that? How many of y'all knew that? Because computer counts, and the word reckon right here is another way of saying counting or calculating. And that's what computers do. All right? It was originally a commercial term denoting the calculation of a sum by considering each of its items separately. And that's what we do. But its meaning eventually broadened out to estimate, examine, and weigh up, either mentally or, the sense which prevailed, by discussion with others. You see that? Now we think a dispute is a negative thing. Oh, they're having a dispute. And we use dispute synonymously with argument. And we think that's negative. Oh man, they arguing, they're disputing. They're having a dispute. But really, dispute is simply to examine and reckon things. Is to weigh things up. So a healthy dispute is all good. But in the circus community, people try to diminish all this stuff to the level of petty ignorance. Now, the neutral sense discuss held center stage in classic Latin, but later in Vulgate, for instance, a note of acrimony appeared, signaling the beginnings of dispute's current sense, which is argue. So y'all see that? Y'all see how it changed? It moved from to estimate something, to examine or weigh something up, calculate it, to the sense of arguing, which is therefore in a sense of fussing or fighting. Okay, y'all see that? So that's why I'm going through these words, so y'all can understand better, or we all can understand better. All right, another one, claim. We hear this word a lot. Claim, what's your claim? What's your claim? What's your claim? So the etymological notion behind claim is of calling out. That's the original notion. Calling out. It comes from Latin claim, the present stem of Old French clamour, and I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that, but I'll pronounce it the English way, clamor, which goes back to Latin clamere, which is to cry out or shout, whose derived noun clamor is the source of the English clamor. Relatives of clamere includes clarus, the source of the English word clear, and possibly calare, call out, whence English is the word counsel. Now, it formed the basis of the English verbs acclaim, exclaim, and proclaim. Their spelling was altered through the association with claim. These words' ultimate source was the onomatopoeic Indo-European base clay or kla, which also produced low, the noise characteristic of a cattle. Now, to make a claim is to call out something that is obviously related to clear. So making claims should be clear calling outs, something that you call out and make clear. All right. And so people need, so in order to do that, again, the theme for tonight is anti-microwavable. You can't microwave claims because your claims have to be clear. Let's keep going. Next one. Proof. We hear this word a lot all the time. Proof. Prove it. Prove it. Proof. Where's the proof? Prove it. Prove it. Prove. All right. Proof and prove are, of course, closely related. Both go back ultimately to Latin probere, which has the notion of test, prove. From this, in post-classical times, was derived the noun proba, which is proof, which passed into English and Old French, preve, as pref. In the 14th and 15th centuries, this gradually changed into mainstream language to proof due to the influence of the verb prove. All right. So proof and prove deals with the notion of testing. All right. Testing. And if you know the history of some other words, you know the history of the word experiment is test. And also the word to try something is to test something. Like when our mothers, our older mothers and aunties would be like, hey, young boy, hey, young man, don't you try me. Don't you try me. You know what they're really saying, right? They say, don't test my patience. Now, maybe I grew up differently, but I remember hearing that. Don't you test my patience. Don't you try me. So now that we know this, we say, don't you prove me. I will prove that I can put my backhand to that bottom or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Or your uncle. You ever had those uncles? Hey there, young man. Don't you test me now. Don't you test me. You gonna see what I got something for you. I got something for you. Don't you test me now. Don't you try me. Yeah, you try me. You try me if you want to. All right. Next word. Evidence. Y'all hear about this all the time. The word evidence, right? So what is the history of it? Now listen, all these words I'm showing y'all, this is not rocket science. Y'all can look this up as I'm even doing it. Go to etymonline.com. That's an online etymological dictionary. I actually have a few actual dictionaries and stuff that I deal with and use. But I just want to pause and say that because I'm sure somebody's going to remind me of the fact that this is found, you can find this anywhere and everywhere. Like, okay, right. Yeah, exactly right. But I'm just pointing out. Okay, so the word evidence, what does it mean? Or what is the history of it? Something that is evident is literally something that can be seen. All right. The word comes via Old French from Latin evidens, which means clear and obvious. Y'all remember the other word for clear? Claim and stuff like that. That's why claim and evidence are used in that same lingo, that same nomenclature of debating, arguing, math and science. Evidence, making something clear, be seen. A compound form from the intensive prefix ex and the present participle videre, which means to see, the source of the English word vision. If you can't see it, it ain't evidence. That's what people try to allude to. The Latin derivative evidentia, from which English gets evidence, meant originally distinction. Y'all got that? Distinction, and later proof. And I just showed you what proof is. To test. So testable. So the testability of something is related to evidence. That's the domain of science. The falsifiability, or be able to falsify something, is prominent in science, which is the domain of evidence. Now you can see where proof is really a mathematical notion because it deals with logic and how it relates to evidence, which is science. And this is the bridge or the usefulness of math and science being used together. Hopefully y'all are catching on. Hopefully the light bulbs are shining bright in your mind tonight. Told you I'm going to be a rapper. Y'all hear that? It rhymed. Hopefully the light bulbs are shining bright in your mind tonight. Sit tight. We're going to get it right. All right. I was trying to think of another word to rhyme with. Listen, I'm going to get it, y'all. I'm going to give me a record deal. I'm going to become a rapper. Yep. And I got to say it like that. I'm become a rapper. Yep. I'm going to spit some bars. Anyway, meant originally distinction or later proof. Basis of the main current sense of evidence, which is testimony which establishes the facts. Testimony which establishes the facts. That's evidence. All right. Now we know that there's different degrees of evidence, or we should know. We should know that there's different degrees of evidence and different types. Circumstantial, direct, testimonial, empirical, and so on and so forth. Anecdotal. So we have different types and weight of evidence. And depending on what space you're in will determine that hierarchy of value. For example, in the court of law, eyewitness testimony or verbal or eyewitness testimony is evidence, and it's weighed pretty high in the court system. But in the science, and especially in physics, eyewitness testimony is very low on a scale. Like nobody likes that in physics. You try to bring eyewitness testimony in a physics setting, you will be laughed at. But in court, it will be encouraged. Eyewitness testimony. Okay, as evidence. So anyway, just wanted to kind of put y'all on to that, give y'all that nugget right there. Next, two more, y'all. Reason. Reason together with rationale, rationale, represent in English the thinking aspect of the Latin verb rere. It also meant calculate, and in that guise has given English rate, ration, etc. When you rate something, you are reasoning it. Okay? Thinking about it in terms of to calculate. From it was derived the noun ratio, which is thinking, calculation. Source of English ratio and the word rest. Oh, ratio and the rest. The rest or the word rest. This spawned the vulgar Latin variant ratione, which passed into Old French as raison. See, I might have got that right. All y'all French speakers out there, y'all keep me honest. Raison, is that it? Did I say it right? Raison. I like the way that come out. Raison. Hey you, raison. um, whence, whence the English reason. All right, so that's the history, etymological history of the word reason. All right, I'm gonna start saying raison the French way. Raison. You're not raison. Raison. All right. Next. And here's the last one. Premise. Now, I know you all hear the word premise used a lot in these YouTubian streets, among YouTubians, I should say. The word premise. What's your premise? So let's see. Premise comes via Old French predicament, premise, and I know I butchered that one. From medieval Latin, praemissa, a noun use of the past participle of Latin premittere, send ahead. Okay, premise, to send ahead. This was a compound verb formed from the prefix pre, or pre, which means before, and mittere, send, to send before. Source of the English admit, this part here, mittere. Admit, commit, mission, transmit. We're dealing with movement, right? It first entered English as a technical term in logic. What's your premise? Remember, in logic, in which its underlying meaning is of a proposition, which is to set before someone, which means, and that's where you get that before, or send. So you send it before someone, you set it before someone. So you lay out your premise. It's a prerequisite of arguments and debating. You have to lay the premise out. It comes before. All right. But it was also used in the plural as a legal term, meaning matters stated previously. In a conveyance or will, such matters were often houses and other buildings referred to specifically at the beginning of the document. And so the term premises came to denote such buildings. Y'all see how that changed? But you see how it makes sense. The change, the semantic chain makes sense. A premise that somebody lives in, like, get off of my premise. Another way of saying get off of my property. You're not allowed on the premises. How did premise and premises become used like that? Well, it's because a will that people who pass away leave the inheritance to someone, or conveyance, it started with the properties in the will at the beginning. All right, so it was the premises in the will. It was the premises within the will, and so they became known as premises. Get off of my property. Get off of my premises. You're not welcome on these premises. All right, so anyway, that is the last word I wanted to go over, and hopefully, you all learned something. These are words we use all the time and we take for granted. Some of these things you may have never heard and didn't know, but we can know because I didn't make this up. I didn't write the etymological dictionaries or anything like that. They're available to us all. All right. A good one to use that's pretty accessible is etymonline.com. etymonline.com. All right, so you all can bookmark that and use it. All right. Now realize what etymology is. Etymology is the history of a word, usually from its coin, its neologisms. I can't even say the word now. Neologisms, which is when a word is first coined or produced, whether it's from scratch or a derivation of something. And then the etymology also discusses its semantic chain through the passage of time. So how the semantic notions may change or have some different nuances. Okay? So remember that. Neologism is a word, in case you don't know, the word I just had trouble pronouncing. Has the word neo, which is new, and logos, word. So neologisms are new words, to keep it short and simple. Okay, I'm just giving y'all more of these terms that you may hear me use more often, and I need to brush up on actually as well, so you all will know. A neologism is a new word, and new words come about through different means, whether it's derived, whether it's through derivational means, what do you call it? Inflectional means, not really inflection, because those are not really new words, but you have borrowings, loans, what they call, well, that's a whole nother discussion. Maybe I'll have it. Anyway, but that's it. That's all I wanted to share. And I am at the hour mark, which is perfect timing. And let me get this off the screen. So hopefully y'all learned something. And I wasn't looking at the chat, but let me just peruse through the chat real quick, see if there's anything, see if y'all are still with me hanging out. Shout out to everybody who's watching. Let me turn on this chat real quick. Definitely shout out to everyone's watching. I know it's Saturday night. It's now Sunday, really, after 12 midnight. Yeah, so I guess everybody is chilling. I don't see any y'all having a conversations among yourselves. I'm scrolling back, y'all. So if y'all hear me being quiet, I'm just trying to go through the chat. Yeah, I see some of the conversations that have been going on. There's like residue of those conversations. Now, also earlier, I can tell that some people, and even in my inbox, some people are trying to bait me in to the madness. And they don't know me very well. And how I despise and unapologetically speak out against the circus aspect of the community. Why I call it a circus community. All of the drama, the immaturity, the bad character, and so on. And I'm not labeling any individual that, at least not right this minute. I'm just speaking in general. I'm against it all. When you see me chime in from time to time, my intent and only intent in doing that whenever I do it, making cameo appearances in conversations, is to be a voice of reasoning and try to offer clarity and clarification. That's it. I'm not for the drama, and I am so seriously against it. I'm so anti all that garbage, and it's really embarrassing. It really, really, really is. It's really embarrassing. All right, so people listen to me now. I don't go on wild goose chases unless I want to hunt some geese. If I don't want to hunt geese, you're not gonna lure me and bait me into a wild goose chase. And people that do are familiar with me, they know that if I jump in on an issue, I'm going to really jump in on the issue to eliminate any and everything that's wrong with it. All right. So y'all may see something in the very near future dealing with some of these topics that y'all hearing on the YouTube streets. So anyway, I'm looking through the comments. I don't see anything that I need to really address. I see y'all having a conversation. Yeah. But listen, shout out to everybody. We got Emmy Cat in the chat. Simple as Melvin, Block Me. Science of Sean. He said on what the feds. Boy, if anybody's talking about feds and stuff over this, it's really gone downhill. Like for real. I'm yeah, it's really gone downhill. I mean, it's beyond. It's done. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. Okay, Dimbabai, he says, but we still don't speak our original language. Dim, let me put this. Let me highlight your comment. Just out of curiosity, real quick, Dimbabai, what is your original language? Or which language are you referring to when you say this? I'm just curious. Robert Rand in the building. Ramza in the building. Who else we got in the building? Jehudi Ma'at is in the building. Man, but listen, can y'all at least comment on what I shared? Did y'all learn anything? Did y'all, were y'all excited like I was when I found out that discuss is the same as debate? Or am I just a nerd? Am I just a nerd of the group that find those things kind of interesting and whatnot? Or are y'all really here to really just see if I jump in on the drama, on the goofy? Y'all don't really want to hear what I really call it. I'm not even gonna say that on the air. What I really call all that stuff. If y'all a fan of Boondocks, you'll pretty much know what I'll call it. These moments. All right, so here's a question. Zane says, what is the difference between discuss and disgust? That's a good question because they sound alike. Well, to answer you in the short and skinny, to discuss, I already went over. Discuss, to discuss something. Disgust, which is what you're asking about, it really had the notion of not to one's taste. Okay. It comes from a negative prefix, a negation prefix, which is the word des, des, and then the word gust, which means to taste. So it's a negation on the word taste, which means not to taste. So something that is disgusting, it means something that is distasteful. All right, distasteful. And something that is distasteful, or we'll say it the long way out. It's like, oh, it put a bad taste in my mouth. That's a long way of saying that something is disgusting. All right. And if something is disgusting to you or puts a bad taste in your mouth. Now, hold up. Man, see, Zane, you asked this question. It's going to make me go over time. Think about this. The early human being, the way that they gauge something. Now, think about this, y'all. Think about this. I need y'all to put y'all thinking caps on. Early human beings. The way that we as early human beings gauged whether something is good for us or bad for us was to taste it. If it was disgusting, which means if it was not to taste, if it triggered our taste buds in a negative light, we refer to that as bad. If we tasted something and it didn't have that effect, most likely we put it in the category of being good. And so bad things became associated with bad taste. Literally, bad, tasting bad. We would taste everything. We would put everything on our tongue. We put our tongue to everything as early human beings, early human beings. And so even today, that notion still sticks with us to this very day. Something that is distasteful is something that is negative or we feel is bad. Like a person wearing a distasteful outfit, we use it in a figurative sense in that way. We're not putting outfits in our mouth to literally taste it, but it's distasteful, which means, and we say, oh man, that puts a bad taste in my mouth, man. I don't know what they doing. And we use it in a figurative sense now, in the example I just gave. But those notions are go way back to when early humans literally tasted everything to experiment if it was good to eat or good for us or bad to eat and could be poison. Especially if you taste something and then the person fall out. Yep, that's distasteful. We definitely not touching that anymore. Imagine that though. Imagine if you are the first group of humans to ever taste something like strawberries. Like you never seen a strawberry in your life, you or your village, your community, your village, your folks. You discover a strawberry for the first time. Nobody else has ever had it before. Don't you understand the pressure that you have to see if that's good to eat? You're risking your life because you don't know if it's poisonous at first. So what are you going to do? You're going to sit back and observe. You're going to see if animals eat it first. Animals have always been our guinea pigs in human history. We observe what animals do first. To this very day, we use animals in medicine testing, in scientific testing, in laboratories. We use animals as our testing controls. We did that as early humans. We observe what animals do. If an animal picks the berries off the tree, most likely it's okay for humans to eat too. But if an animal touches something and then the animal dies, you see the animal stretched out, laid out, dead, and no human around is going to touch that thing. Which brings up another issue about birds of prey, especially vultures that eat dead carcasses. Vultures, believe it or not, were monitored to see what are they eating so they could see what is dead and how it died. Because vultures will eat dead flesh. And they see the dead flesh. Okay, it was a natural kill from, animal to animal, hunting, whatever. Or is there something going on? If there's a lot of dead animals around and a lot of vultures around, people get worried, like, wait a minute. Is there a plague around here? Is something going on? Anyway, that's it for me for tonight, y'all. I see y'all are definitely having your own conversations. And it is obviously about all of the ruckus that's been going on. But if you know me, y'all come check back with me periodically. Okay? Before you know it, you're going to see a publication. A couple of publications. One of my main goals is to finish the grammar book. Matter of fact, where's the picture? I'm going to show you a picture of it. And I actually had a proof copy, a preliminary or rough draft that was not nearly finished, but just something that I wanted to have because I knew I was going to take a break from it. But let me see if I can show y'all the image of it. Yeah, it's right here. I'll make it big so y'all can see it. All right, here it is right here. This is the book to look out for. Now, this is not going to be a book that is it's not made for everybody. It's a very narrow narrowly targeted audience book. It's a textbook that is going to be used to teach the ancient Egyptian language. Okay, the title of it is Ancient Egyptian Orthography and Grammar. It's going to be the first edition, obviously. A synchronic descriptive grammar of the older speech of Kemet. It's going to have both Sesh, Medew, Netcher, and Rani Kemet in it. Everything about the two. Sesh, Medew, Netcher being the writing system, and Rani Kemet being the spoken language. All right. So that is the book that you all can be looking out for. I'm not giving a ETA like I used to before because, you know, I'm way behind on when I wanted to have this book published and out. All right. But that's the book that you all can expect from me sometime in the future. And then you may see a couple of smaller publications from me prior to this book going out. It all depends. All right, especially with the messy stuff going on in the community right now. Like, I wonder, are we wasting our time writing books? Like, really? People don't want to read. They rather hang out on YouTube. They rather have reality TV scholarship and hang out on YouTube to microwave everything, not getting any understanding. You see the same conversations over and over again. Why? Because people are trying to have conversations on YouTube. That YouTube is not made to, it's not effective. Now, YouTube is a great tool. It is. But we just got to be real. YouTube is not made for certain topics of discussion. It's just not. Especially the way people do it with a panel, people, you know, over talking each other, cursing each other out, getting emotional, taking shirt off, wearing costumes and stuff. And all that good stuff. Yeah. Anyway, that's my time, y'all. I want to keep this brief. I'm 16 minutes over the time I wanted to be. So anyway, y'all have a good night, and you know what I'm saying? Be careful out there in the circus, man. The circus can get wild at times. The circus community is definitely off the chain and wild at the moment, and it's really telling. It's really telling, and I'm telling y'all, if y'all don't already know, I am adamantly and unapologetically anti all of that. All of it. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth. It's disgusting, as we just discussed. The word disgust, not discuss like discussion, but disgust. It really is. All right. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Listen, if you learn anything from these videos or not, thumb up the video. Find something that you like, because a thumb up is supposed to be like the video. Find something on there, whether it's an emoji. If you like the cover of this book, thumb up the video. If you like the logo in the background, thumb it up. Anyway, all right, there's Mike Tyson. That name tripped me out, Mike Tyson. Every time I see that name, Mike Tyson. Oh, Mike Tyson. I could actually hear it now. Now I don't want to laugh because that might be your actual name. So let me first let me ask you that. Is that your actual name? Because I'd be wrong to think that you are being funny with it, and that actually is your name. That would be kind of crazy. So let me know that first before I crack my jokes. But anyway, you said they don't want it, Woo. I swear. I swear they don't want it. How we go from group study on YouTube to verbal MMA on YouTube. Nobody want to study, Woo. Everybody want to debunk. That's true. That's absolutely through. It is. It is. It is, man. It's very immature. When I was growing up, man, I didn't see 50 plus year olds acting the way I see it today. I really didn't. I really didn't. Our people who are older are not role models. They're not good ones. But it's evident that people are grooming the norm, the new norm. It's normal to curse people out. It's normal to behave very immaturely. It's normal to microwave stuff. It's normal to not comprehend things and still yet have a discussion about things. It's normal to not read books but yet have so much to say about books. It's normal to I mean, so much stuff has become the new norm. It's crazy. Simple as that. You got no go another two. Now this is it. All right, so I'm gonna say peace to y'all, and but before I do go, I want y'all to see again. Now, again, I want y'all to see and understand this. African Scholastic Homeland Security Agency. All right? When things get out of hand, y'all will know who shows up. All right? No need to get all, do what other people do at all. When certain things come on the scene, you know it's going to be about business. It's going to be about putting in the business, dishing out the real business. People say, get that work. Well, guess what? The work is about to get gotten. About to Walter Williams some folks out here. Believe that. But anyway, with that, I'm going to say Shemim Hotep. But y'all check this out. We got some warrior scholars up here. Now, mind you, this video clip was done like 5 years ago. People be tripping thinking we new to all this stuff. But let me say Shemim Hotep to y'all. And I see that you all cannot hear it. I don't know why. Let me try that again. Y'all should be able to hear it. It played earlier. And y'all need to hear this, or y'all need to see it. But you should hear it too. Does no good if you can't hear it. Try this again. If it don't play this time, then y'all will catch it next time. Let's see what happens.
Five, four, three, two, one.